Hi, this is Lynn Shuck with Healing and Balance. We're about to do some strengthening and loading of the knees, leg muscles, ankle flexion, all towards working towards squatting, working towards downward dog, ankle flexion, all those things. And we're going to be using some kind of stick. It needs to be a little bit longer. It doesn't have to be as tall as you are, but like an old broomstick would work. This is a little taller than that. I think it's 5 feet tall, and it's PVC pipe, but something pretty still. And we're going to start by holding that. I'm holding it in front of me. Okay. And I'm going to step 1 foot toward it, so it's more in front of that leg. And as I step that foot toward it, I want to keep that foot on the floor. It doesn't really matter what's happening in your back leg. I'm going to keep that foot flat on the floor and try and bring my knee toward the stick. And if it goes easily, I'm going to scoot back a little, and I want to find where is it most challenging to work toward this. I'm going to keep figuring out where that's about it. I can just get there. That's about it. So now that I've found where it's challenging, I'm going to stay there, and I'm going to go back and forth. And I'm trying to keep that pull vertical. You could do this part of this at the wall. Now, you're going to pretend that you've done 10, because we haven't done 10 yet. And I'm going to hold after that 10th one. And I'm going to really press that foot into the ground, reaching my knee toward that pole, building some strength, and then come back. And we'll do the whole thing on the other side. So again, the pole is in front of my foot. I try my foot maybe with my toes touching the pole. That's pretty easy with my toes 2 inches away, so I'm going to try about 3 inches away. And on this side, I'm not as comfortable moving, so I'm not as far away, so I'm going to work here. And again, not too worried about what's happening with that back leg. I'm trying to make sure my front foot stays on the floor as I reach my knee toward the wall or toward your pole. Trying to touch the pole each time. After 10 of them, you'll come forward and you'll hold. Press that foot into the floor, especially the heel. And we come back. So now we're going to put something under the heels. It could be a block. It could be, I'm going to use this slightly bigger block so that I can get both heels on it. And so now I'm up on my toes, and I'm going to take that same movement, trying to bring my knees toward a wall or toward the pole. If I face you, you'll see that my pole is dead center. And so I'm using it for balance. My heels stay on the block, but I'm taking my knees forward. One of the tricky parts about this is if your legs don't have a lot of strength yet, or you don't have a lot of mobility, you're going to want to lean your body over. What we want to do instead is bring the knees forward and try and keep the shoulders sort of over the hips. You can see that mine come forward slightly, but I'm trying to be upright as I take my knees forward toward the pole. And just like before, I would do 10 and then would come down and hold, trying to press my knees forward, keeping my heels on the block, and come up. You're going to feel a lot of quads. Go ahead and shake that out. The last thing we're going to do here, I'm actually going to grab another dowel just because I want something wider. We're going to set up in a squat with the heels supported. Now, if you are capable of squatting with your heels flat on the floor, you go ahead and do that. But my heels come up when I squat. So I still have my tall pole. I come all the way down. I find my squat. I get my heels supported. My feet are a little wider apart, slightly turned out. And you can see I'm leaned forward quite a bit. I can't get very upright because that's just not how my body works yet. But I'm going to try and stand all the way up, walk my hands up the pole, and come back down. And as you're doing this, you're trying not to do what I'm doing, which is you're trying not to lean forward so much. But my knees don't like this yet. They're still new to this. So I'm leaning forward more because that takes some of the pressure out of my knees. After your third one, and you've been trying to be more upright, unlike what I'm doing, you're going to place your hands out in front of you. One right in front of your chest, one higher. Notice which hand is on top. Then I'm going to try and lift that pole up over my head. Yours might go higher. And you're going to put the pole down. You're going to walk back up. You're going to come back down and switch your hands. One arm in front, one arm on top. Arms stay extended. We try and lift that pole up. We put the pole down, and you can repeat that, going up the pole, back down, lift the pole. Walk up, stand up, come down, lift the pole. That's a whole squatting sequence, strengthening and loading the knee joints and the ankle joints. Use things under your heels as needed. Figure out how high you want to come. And when you do the one that's sort of up on your toes, you can let that be as high as you like. We're going to do it on both feet for now. It can be done on one foot. But all of this, we're trying to bring the knees forward of the ankles. We're trying to keep the heels on the ground or on the block. And over time, we're going to try and get that torso more upright. Maybe you're a bit ahead of me on that progress towards that. Regardless, that's what I have for you. Get a stick, go.